Does anyone know a good shepherd? I need some shearing of my wool up here, as you can tell. So, let me know about that. Welcome back to our discussion on the Song of Songs. Last time, the bride, who's kind of speaking for us, representing the people of God, pops the big question on Jesus, and she asks him, "Tell me, O you whom my soul loves, where do you pasture your flock? Where do you make it lie down at noon?" And this time, we get the answer, which is very exciting. So jumping right in to verse 8 of chapter 1, Jesus answers her and says, "If you yourself do not know, most beautiful among women, go forth on the trail of the flock and pasture your young goats by the tents of the shepherds." I love his answer. He says, "If you don't know." Seems he's not so sure that she doesn't know. Perhaps she really does, somewhere deep down in there. Perhaps she really does know where Jesus pastures, feeds his people, where Jesus rests his people. I think God answers us that way sometimes, where we really do know the answer to our question. What should I do? And we're looking for specifics. And he believes that we really know the answer. We should go to him. We should listen. We should wait. We should be quiet. I'm not saying that's always the case, but I think sometimes we know the answers to our questions. And he bears with us and says, well, if you don't know, and that's what he says to her, if you don't know, most beautiful among women. He tells her that she is presently the most beautiful. In her dark, burned, neglected state, he says that she is right now most beautiful. Remember where she's been. She has just realized that she is dark, yet lovely. She has just realized that she's been slaving and working for God, and she's been burned under the sun of striving on her own. She's just realized that she has not taken care of the vineyard of her heart. She's neglected it. And she's just begun to ask for change, just now. And at that moment, before any change has come, he says to her, most beautiful. Beloved, that's what God says to you today, right in the midst of your stuff, right in the midst of your darkness, your burn, your neglect. He calls you most beautiful. Remember, he is the one who speaks light into the darkness. When God started with the universe, with the planet, he didn't go, "What's the matter with all this darkness? Ew! I can't stand darkness. Let's get rid of this darkness." No, what did he say? Let there be light. God speaks light into our darkness. He finds the beauty that's hidden in the darkness. He speaks into us in the midst of our darkness and calls to the image of God that is inside of us, the beauty of God that we were made in. And he calls to it and says, most beautiful. And that's what creates change in our lives. If he would speak to us and say, "Oh, you're so dark. Eh, you're so burned. Oh, you're so neglectful," guess what we would be? We would remain dark. We would remain burned and neglected. But in that state, he calls us beautiful, and so we are beautiful. He is the God who speaks, and it is. He speaks that which is not as though it were. And that's what He's doing to her right now. She can hardly see the beauty, and neither can anybody else. But He sees it. He speaks to it. He calls it forth. Most beautiful among women. And now here's the answer He gives her of what she should do. Where do you feed your people? Where do you rest those under your care? This is what He tells her. Go forth on the trail of the flock. Follow the path that's been laid before you. Follow the trail of those who have gone on this journey. Lovers of God who have gone after Him. Yes, it's narrow, but it's sure. Follow that ancient pathway. This doesn't mean to try to be somebody else. This doesn't mean to find some hero of Christianity and try to live their story. It doesn't mean you should only do the exact things they did. That's not even what imitation means when Paul says, imitate me as I imitate Christ. He's not saying to be like a puppet that mimics everything that he does. It's to imitate that heart. It's to imitate that pursuit. But it's going to look different in your life. But it's that same pathway. Follow that same pathway, that ancient way that Jesus laid out before us. And what is that way?